I work a lot in the psychological aspects of the mind, psychological aspects of business and motivation. So I'd like to start off today with a psychological joke. Man walks into a psychiatrist's office, said, I have an issue sleeping at night. I can't sleep more than 15 minutes at a time. Psychologist asked, well, what's the issue? He's like, I have a horrible feeling that there's someone under my bed that's going to come out and murder me in the middle of the night. So he says, can you help me cure that? He goes, well, I can. Well, how much is it going to cost? Well, it's not going to be an easy fix. It's going to be probably a couple months, and you're going to have to see me at least once a week. Well, how much do you cost? Well, I do $150 a session. So the man does the math, $150 times 4 times another 4 months. He goes, that's a lot of money. I'm going to have to think about it. Goes out, the psychiatrist never sees him again. About 6 weeks later, the psychiatrist is out shopping for groceries, happens to see the guy. He remembers the guy. He says, hey, weren't you the guy that had that terrible feel about someone underneath the bed was going to murder him? Yeah, whatever happened? Did you cure it? He goes, yeah, my bartender cured it in 3 minutes. Like, what do you mean your bartender cured it in 3 minutes? He said, yeah, he just had me saw the legs off all my bed. Psychology and your mind holds fantastic powers. It holds the power for fear, it holds the power for success, it holds the power for achievement. Today, I'm going to go over 3 main ways to set goals that you can use to achieve your personal, business, and political life. I heard someone ask earlier if we had any congressmen here in the audience. I don't know who that would be, but we'll leave them nameless for right now. But I want to be able to give you some usable tactics and usable techniques that you can use to take back to your municipalities, your cities, to achieve balanced budgets and any sort of other different goals that you want to achieve. So there are 3 main ways to do it. I know there's a lot of different ways to set goals out there. I'm going to highlight 3 of the key ways, 3 of the ways that I think are the most important and the most important for your business and your municipalities. The first way that we can set goals is a kinesthetic approach to goal setting. Kinesthetic way. Don't let the word fool you. Don't let it intimidate you. All it has to do is with touch, with feeling. All right? You probably have heard this word before or this phrase. Anything followed by a pleasurable experience will tend to be repeated, whereas anything with a bad experience will tend to be avoided. It's basically Pavlovian theory. You've probably taken a high school or college psychology class. They talk about classical conditioning. That's exactly what this is. It's why the rat runs to the end of the maze to find the cheese. It's why the dog rolls over on command. And it can be used to achieve goals in your own life. Now, there are 2 important parts about classical conditioning. One is pain and one is pleasure. You have to have both of the parts to work together concurrently for it to work to the most effective means. So, what I would like you to do is figure out whatever your ultimate goal happens to be. We're going to work on those goal setting tactics here this morning, and what I want you to do is find your ultimate goal, whatever it happens to be for you, for your municipality, for your city. If it happens to be a balanced budget, there's a number of different steps and techniques that you have to use to get that. I want you to vary everything down to 1 manageable step that you can do on a daily basis. So let's say, all right, let's say for this, for instance, you have a huge public works project that's coming up. You don't know how you're going to manage all of the different vendors, all of the different construction workers, everything coming down. You know that you're going to have to finish this up by 2020. That's the primary goal. I want you to break it down to the steps that you need to do. Well, what would you have to do this month? What would you have to do this week? And then finally break it down, what would you have to do on a daily basis to make sure that that goal is achieved and set up? That's the one thing that I want you to focus on. That if you were able to do that one thing consistently every single day for the next 4 months, 3 years, everything would be achieved in 2020. That's what I want you to focus on. And how I want you to tie that in kinesthetically is using this approach. I want you to give yourself a reward every single time that you achieve that one basic step. So, find something that you enjoy. Find something that you like to do. Perhaps it's watching television at the end of the night. That's something that you want to focus on. Perhaps it's, I know a lot of people love music. Perhaps maybe it's downloading a new song from iTunes. The way that the classical conditioning works is you have to have something tangible that you can touch, feel right now that gives you that instant gratification. So let's say this, for example. Let's say a goal is to earn $250,000 a year in whatever it happens to be, okay? That's your ultimate goal. You would think that if you were to go through and take this step every single day, that ultimately the $250,000 goal at the end of the year is exactly what you're looking for. That's exactly what you want to accomplish. That's exactly what you want to achieve. You would think that that big goal is enough to motivate you because you're at $250,000. However, nobody can usually stay that long because you're not going to get that $250,000 for a year. So by breaking it down into a manageable portion and a manageable reward that you can give yourself every single day, it spurs you forward onto it. It's instant gratification. And in this country, we have, across the world, there's so many uses for instant gratification. You've got text messaging, you've got emails, everything gets back and forth to you on a quick basis. That's how everything happens today. So let's say that I really love music. Every time I achieve my goal that day, I'm going to download a new song from iTunes. It's something that you can experience right then and there. You go onto the keyboard, you place the order for it, and then you're able to listen to music. You have that touch sensation along with it. Now, a lot of people do come up to me after the presentations and say, well, listen, you know what? There's something I really want, but I can't go out and afford to buy that every single day, all right? Here's what I want you to do. I want you to use a token system. So let's say I want, you know what? I love clothing. I love suits. I love looking at all, I love being able to put all the shoes together, the belts. I love this fantastic stuff. However, if I were to buy myself a new suit or a new dress every single day, I'd go bankrupt trying that stuff. So how can you continue along that line when something that you want is a little bit more? It's called a token system. The way the token system operates is simple. You assign a token. Could be a quarter, it could be a wooden nickel, it could be a small nut, a bolt, it doesn't matter. Something that you can touch. It's that touch sensation that matters the most. Then, at the end of the week, you can go out and buy the dress. You can go out and buy the suit. At the end of the month, if you have 30 tokens inside a box, a basket, a jar, at that point in time, you can reward yourself with the suit. The important thing is not what the token is, it's that you have that physical connection along with it. So once you have that physical connection associated with your achievement, it spurs you forward to continue to achieve on a daily basis. And that's what you need to look for, because at the end of the year, you're going to earn that $250,000. You're going to settle that contract in with the municipalities. That's what you're going to look for. Now, there are two parts to that system. There's the kinesthetic approach. There's a pleasure system, but there's also a punishment system. And in this country, punishment has kind of gone by the wayside for everything. But that's an important aspect for your goal setting, because if you do not achieve the goal that you are setting for that specific day, you want to be able to make sure that you punish yourself for that so you don't repeat the same experience. So let's say, for instance, you do not make, I work a lot for the sales departments of different places. Let's say that you don't make 5 sales phone calls per day. You want to be able to punish yourself for that, because that is the aspect that's going to help spur you forward as well. There's two ways that people deal with achievement. There's through pleasure and through pain. But I want to make an important point that it is not oriented toward your business or your municipality work, whatever it happens to be. So let's say, for instance, that you are a salesperson. Okay, you can say, well, I failed in my 5 calls, so tomorrow I'm going to make 10. That's going to be my punishment. That's a less than ideal way to do it. You don't want it to have to be tied into your business or whatever you're trying to achieve at that point in time. So, at that point in time, let's say that you are an avid sports watcher. You don't make the sales phone calls, you're off TV for the night. When it comes to playoff season, I'll tell you what, you're going to want to make those 5 phone calls. You're going to want to make those 5 sales phone calls throughout the year. So there's a punishment system, there's a reward system to it. If it's a larger aspect behind everything, then I want you to use a token system, something you can physically touch and reward yourself for it. After the end of the week, if you have 7 of them in there, you buy a new suit. At the end of 30 days, you buy a new dress, whatever it happens to be. At the end of 2 months, it's a new TV. Whatever it happens to be for you, when you've got 60 tokens in there, you're good to go. So that's the first way to set goals. That's the kinesthetic approach to goal setting. The second way, in fact, I heard this in the introduction, that we didn't want to attempt to control a lot of things. We wanted to make sure that we didn't influence as much as possible. That word control has a very negative connotation associated with it. What is another word for control? When you control something, you also inhibit it. If you're looking to control something, you inhibit certain reactions. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to use the whiteboard over here. It's a trick. I'm going to trick you. Try not to fall for it. All right. I'm going to start off with you, sir, in the red. What is your name?
John.
John. You named a room after you right down the hall. Some guy was looking for you earlier. He found you, looked like he was in a rush. John, let me ask you a question. What do you see?
X.
An X. All right. The gentleman over here in the light greenish blue, yeah, the glasses. What is your name?
Rudy.
Rudy. No name for that, Rudy. That's it. That's the best thing I can do. Rudy, what do you see?
4 triangles.
4 triangles. Okay. How about you? What do you see, man? Yes.
2 lines.
2 lines. 2 lines. Now, this is anyone up on the board not see an X? Does anyone not see an X? Okay. Usually about this point in time, I have all kind of people coming in. I see valleys. I see turkey legs. I see all kind of stuff. I told you in the beginning that it was a trick. I asked you what you saw, and most of you thought that it was an X, correct? That's not what I meant, and that's not what I said. I asked you, what do you see? Some of you are seeing 2 lines on the board, but a large number of people, you are seeing the frame around the board. You're also seeing the screen behind it. Many of you are seeing people's heads who are in front of you as you look through the board. So while you're all looking at the same thing, you're all not seeing the same thing. What has happened is you have inhibited yourself down to focus on one specific thing. And it's the way that our minds are trained. It's the way that our teachers have done it for years. Usually when someone says, I want to show you something, and they come over to the board, you immediately think what has to be something with the board. You see the X, it has to be an X. But that's not what you're seeing. You're seeing all kinds of other things that are out there if you only pay attention to that. So by controlling things, you also inhibit everything. Even if I decide that I'm going to pick up this glass of water, what I have to do is I have to inhibit every single other one of my muscles to physically go down and develop that fine motor skill to pick it up. I'm actually inhibiting everything in my body to make sure it does that one specific action. So while you folks are out there and you're seeing different things, or you're looking at different things, you're not all seeing the same things. And when we did the introductions earlier, they asked, hey, if you happen to know someone or you don't know them, talk to them, see what they're doing, introduce themselves, talk about what's working in their municipalities, in their cities, and see if you can apply that to yourself. Just because they're on the northern end or the southern end makes no difference. You know, we're all part of the same state. It all works together. Sometimes you have to step out of that box to actually see things. I don't necessarily consider myself a speaker. I consider myself a marketer of speaking services. I don't necessarily consider myself a hypnotist. I consider myself a marketer of hypnosis services. If I step outside of the box of a presenter, all of a sudden at that point in time now, I can open myself up to a bunch of opportunities. There's tons of things that I can learn from you folks. There's tons of things that you can learn from talking to doctors, lawyers, and learn how to apply it to your municipalities. So I digressed there for a little bit because I wanted to show that to you because I noticed that was in the introduction, so I wanted to do that. So we went through the kinesthetic approach to goal setting. The second approach to goal setting is an auditory approach. Auditory just has to do with the way that you hear things. It's the auditory approach. The human mind can fall into patterns very, very easily. And I say that this is a very, very good thing. Let me give you an example. I'm going to show you another trick. Everyone, do me a favor. I want you to spell the word poke out loud. Everyone. Everyone spell the word joke. What do you call the white part of an egg? No, the white part. The yellow part is the yolk. The white part is actually called the albumin. Now, I had a friend of mine, I was doing this for someone, and he heard the demonstration, said, actually, it was a 6-year-old kid, said, the shell. And if you think about it, he's a little tad more right than the rest of us over here. But I say that this approach is fantastic, and this news is good for us. I mean, in my trade, once it's an accident, twice is a pattern, 3 times, and you're well on your way to developing a habit. So I can show you how to use this to achieve your goals. That's my goal tonight. Let me give you an example of this. John, I'm going to go with you. Do you have any goal? Any specific goal that you want to achieve in your business, personal life? It's totally fine if you don't. No, nothing particular?
Yeah, perhaps balanced budget.
Balanced budget. All right. It's good. That's is it an achievable goal? Achievable? Yeah, good. I like the attitude. Most people don't have any set of written goals. And I will tell you, the one thing that has changed my life, and you folks all know this, you've all heard this before, is to develop a set of written goals. Now, it took John a little while to answer that question, all right? I want you folks to answer this one for me. Fill in the next part of the sentence. Nationwide is melts in your mouth, not in. Now look at that. I want to ask you, did you ever stop for a second and say, I'm going to learn the M&M jingle today? Did you consciously sit down and say, you know what, I'm going to learn the Nationwide jingle this morning? Never. But there it is. You folks fire it back right away. This is how I'm going to have you train your mind in the auditory approach to goal setting. Now, John, if I got you to break down your list of balancing the budget into a number of different affirmations, okay? It could be certain things like, I work well with contractors. I easily get 4 bids from different companies to make sure I save my municipality the best amount of money. I thoroughly research my potential workforce to make sure that they're efficient and they're not wasting a lot of money. First, you want to make sure that your goals are broken down into an achievable, positive affirmation. The human mind has a very, very difficult time dealing with the negative aspects of anything. I'll give you an example. For the next moment or so, please do not attempt to picture a pink elephant. I would venture to say that it's going to be very difficult for you to not picture a pink elephant in the next few moments. Nothing you can do about that, by the way. Also, try not to think about the way that your left foot feels right now. Nothing you can do about that either. The human mind has a lot less control over it than we think it does. So if I'm going to take an auditory approach to goal setting, I want you to use a positive way to express those. So, for instance, if it was someone who wanted to lose weight, I wouldn't say that I don't want to be fat anymore. It's a negative way to express that. I would say, I'm losing weight constantly, and I weigh 160 pounds. Much better to do it in a positive way. Now, here's what I suggest you do. I know that a lot of computers and laptops are getting out of the CDs on the laptops anymore, on the computers. There's not a lot of them anymore. However, I do see tons of phones out here. And on those phones, there's an app called an audio recorder. Let me just say that if you happen to record a list of those positive affirmations on how to balance that budget, on how to lose weight, on the goals that you want to achieve in the upcoming year. And every few seconds, you would have your voice on that recorder going and saying, I negotiate easily with contractors. A few seconds later, I save my city tens and thousands of dollars every time I negotiate with a contractor. A couple moments later, I consistently hire excellent employees that work efficiently in my business, my office. If it was your own voice, that you could record that over and over and over again in your own mind, using your own voice. I'll give you a bonus technique. If you want, throw in some soft music in the background while you're reading that. Break it down into about a 5-minute recording, okay? Now let me ask you this. How many of you have aux inputs in your car that you can plug your phone in? Most of you do. They're all in there now. I think they're coming most of the time. You can burn it still onto a CD. You're probably driving around for hours. If you ever add up just how long it takes, even if you're only driving to work a half an hour a day, if you add that up over a week, that's at least a couple hours. Well, this is the cool part. Once you take that recording, you've recorded your goals down into an affirmative, positive way to express them. You've thrown some soft music on in the background. That's probably what? I would say a 15, 20-minute investment of your time. Really, when it comes down to it, you write your goals one time. Because most people, you already know that you should be writing goals down. That's the best way to achieve them. But be honest, how many do it? Nobody. You know? I will tell you, I don't write them down every day. I do have a board though. It's written down, and it's the first thing I see in the morning when I wake up. It's a goal board that I have. Actually, the development of this presentation was on the goal board. It's now off the goal board because I've achieved that goal. But without that, I probably never would have developed this presentation. So I don't write them every day, but I do look at them every day. The easiest thing to do is once you take that initial investment to write your goals down that you want to achieve, you record it onto your phone jack, you record it onto a CD. The coolest part is that for that 15 minutes, you don't have to do anything else with that aside from listen to it. And you don't have to pull your car off to the side of the road. You don't have to sit down and actually devote time and attention to it. You can just have it droning on in the background. And at that point in time, if you do that for 21 days, all right, most people say it takes about 21 days to develop a habit. Whether that's a business habit or a personal habit, it's about 21 days to develop anything into a habit. The reason they go 21 days, or I say sometimes a month, is this. If you're working 5 days a week, 5, 10, 15, 20, you're only going to probably do the work goal setting during the work hours or during the days that you're working, so you're looking at about a month at that time frame. However, if you devoted 21 days or 30 days to listening to that, droning in the background for 15 minutes while you're on your way to an appointment, while you're on your way to work, while you're on your way home, you would have the same net psychological effect of those television commercials. You'd be able to repeat those goals back to yourself on an instant and effortless manner just like that. You'd be able to recite them out. It would drone in on you repeatedly over and over again. So that's the second way to set goals. I actually have a goal setting CD out in the car, and I listen to it on the way. I do it for about 15 minutes, and then I pop it out and throw something else on. So I don't just, I'm not out here just preaching to you. I actually do practice what I preach. I've noticed since I started writing the goals, since I started using the goal setting system, I've actually been able to achieve them a lot more. All right, so that's the second way. The first way is the kinesthetic approach. It was with touching, feeling things, rewards and punishments. Second thing is the auditory approach, listening to your goals in a repeated manner over and over again. You can do it by reciting them to yourself every day in the mirror, but most people don't do it. So that's why I like the idea of just the CD, the aux jack on your car, your phone, just listen to it for 15 minutes, you're good to go. The third and final way that I think is the most efficient way to set goals, or one of the 3 efficient ways to set goals, is a visualization process. The visualization process is probably the most dramatic demonstration. I'm going to do a little bit of that demonstration a little bit later here this morning. With the visualization process, you'll hear, I think the richest man in the world right now is Bill Gates, if I'm not mistaken. All right? We call all the most successful people in our culture visionaries. There's a specific reason why we call them that. And I believe it's the way they envision the future. All right? The second or third richest man, it flip-flops back and forth. The second richest or third richest man, depending on what day it is today, is Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway, the Oracle from Omaha. Now, with Steve Jobs, or the Microsoft guy, here's what happened with him. He was in Harvard Business School and dropped out because he had such a clear vision of the future. He saw that everyone was going to have laptop computers or computers on their desks in the future. He didn't want to waste 2 more years at Harvard. So he decides that he's going to quit and go into producing computers. Let me ask you this question. When he did that, how many people had a laptop computer on their desk? 0, right? Nobody. He saw it coming in the future. He envisioned that, decided to go with it. Warren Buffett, the exact same way. He looks at companies, he can see that they're undervalued. He can see in the future, hey, I think we're going to need a use for this business, this service. So what does he do? He invests in those companies that he envisions in the future. And I'll be darned if 9 times out of 10, he's not right. Second richest man, third richest man in the world. It's incredible. He has a clear vision of where these companies are going and what use they're going to be in the future. You listen to famous athletes, you'll hear them talk all the time. It's like, I envision my success. You know, you talk with LeBron James, and he'll sit back and he goes, no, I see myself making those 3-point shots, the game-winning 3-point shot at the end, all the time. I completely envision that every night before I go to bed. That's what I do. He's a visionary. If you can get a firm vision in your mind of what you want to accomplish in the future, you can achieve that in the future. All right? Now, most people don't have an idea of what they look like in their unconscious mind. They don't have a clear vision of what they are in their unconscious mind. So, let me do this. I want everyone to think of the last time you took a shower. Okay? Think of the last time you took a shower. What do you see? Now, most people will say, well, isn't it kind of like you put your body in the shower and backed out and looked at it? But that's not what you see. The last time you took a shower, you would have saw the fixtures, you would have saw the water, you would have saw the tiles that you were using. But most people put themselves into that image of them in the shower. That is your unconscious view of yourself. Okay? Let me give you a quick example. Oprah Winfrey, for a while, was losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight. She would gain weight, look fantastic, or she would lose weight, look fantastic, and then gain it back. Oprah's lost the same, like 80 pounds 9 times now. It's the same thing. But what happened is whenever she gained the weight back, she always gained right to where she thought she would be, and then she would settle down. She'd stop. She wouldn't go higher than that. She wouldn't go lower than that. I surmise that Oprah had an image of herself in her mind of that's what she should look like in her unconscious mind. And it wasn't until she changed the image of herself in her unconscious mind that she was able to lose the weight and keep the weight off. That is how powerful your mind can be. So, if one of your goals is to be a state congressman or state senator, are you envisioning yourself as a congressman or senator? What does your unconscious mind, your image of yourself, look like? If you can put your image inside that for the future, the chances of you achieving that are infinitely more incredible. The visualization process is fantastic. You talk to top salespeople across the country all the time. They'll say, hey, you know what, when I started off in this business, I didn't know how to sell anything, I didn't have a lot of anything, but you know what? I had a dream, I had a vision. that I can make a lot of money at this. So what did I do? You know what? I wanted to own a Mercedes. Powder blue, black interior. You know, now I look back at it and I look out in the garage and it's my powder blue Mercedes sitting in the garage. They had a clear vision of that car, something that they wanted to achieve in their life, and they strove to do that. Same thing with a house. I wanted a pool, tennis court. I would take up pictures of houses with pools and tennis courts. My wife and I would drive around rich people's neighborhood, and we'd take photographs of the house. Kind of stalkerish and creepy, I know. In this day and age, I don't know whether you can get away with that. But that's what they would do. And I said, this is what we want our house to look like after we reach our goal. This is the house that we want. They would tape it up on the dashboard of the car. They'd tape it up in the mirrors. They had a clear image, a clear vision in their mind of the house that they wanted in the future. Well, see this house with 4 pillars, the pool and tennis court? That's my house now. That's because that's what we wanted. We focused in on that vision. All right, now, that's the 3 different ways to achieve the visualization process. I think the visualization process is the most fantastic part of anything that you can do. And some of us are excellent visualizers, some of us are not so good visualizers. But the cool part is we can all be trained to be excellent visualizers. I'm going to draw something on the board here for one moment. This is not a trick. Some people, you may be aware of this, some people may not be aware of this. This is the bell curve. You get this out of statistics. It's based on a central limit tendency, okay? And basically what that says is for any series of randomly plotted events, any large group of things that takes place, that happens and goes on, if you plot them out at an infinite number of times, eventually this curve begins to develop, okay? It's one of the weird oddities of nature. Nobody can explain it, but it's what happens. Okay, so, for instance, if you take a large random sampling of people, as this crowd would happen to be, for anything that we happen to do with it, there's going to be about 2.7% that are excellent at anything that we decide to do in here, okay? There's going to be about 10 to 15% who are good. You're going to have about 68% that are on the average side, 68% on the average side, all the way to the other side of the bell curve where there's about 10 to 15% that are bad at anything, and then all the way down to the far limit where there's 2.7% of any random sampling of people that are just absolutely horrendous at anything that we decide to do. So let me give you an example. Have you ever heard the statement that 2.7% of the population, or 2% of the population controls 60% of the world's wealth? They get those statistics right out of the bell curve. It's a democratic society. Everyone has the option of doing whatever they want to do, however they decide to do it. Yet when you take all of that together and plot it out on a monetary income level, it's 2.7% that controls 68% of the population of the money. All the way down to 2.7% who are living in abject poverty. They have the option, they have the choice, but it still falls out that way. Now, in a moment, I'm going to show you how dramatic the visualization process can be for you folks. You may be wondering what these chairs are doing up here. See, I believe that successful people are actually hypnotizing themselves. Now, don't let the word fool you. They don't call it hypnosis. Some of them call it their visualization process. Some call it creative visualization. They call it their visionary technique. Whatever it happens to be, I believe that every time LeBron James sits back and is visualizing himself making those three-point throws for the game-winning shot, I believe he's literally self-hypnotizing himself into that success. That's what I believe. In a moment, I intend to bring a few people up on stage here and show you exactly how that looks, exactly how it works. Now, I'm going to direct back everything to the bell curve for 1 second. Now, if you take a look at the sampling of people that we have today, you're going to see that there's probably going to be 2.7% of you folks out here who are excellent, fantastic hypnotic subjects. You're going to be wonderful the first time being hypnotized. There's going to be about 10 to 15% of you who are very good hypnotic subjects. About 68% of you folks are going to be average today. On the other side, 10 to 15% are going to be a little bit less than average, and all the way down to 2.7% who, for all intents and purposes, this morning are unhypnotizable. Doesn't mean you're not hypnotizable, because the idea is if you can fall asleep, you can be hypnotized. The trance state that I'm going to induce is the exact same state right before deep sleep at night, right after deep sleep in the morning. You actually have to pass through the trance state to fall asleep. So like I said, if you can fall asleep, you can be hypnotized. Now, many of us enter that trance state more than just twice a day. I'll give you a few examples. Have you ever walked into your house, saw someone watching TV, and they're just completely zoned out, mouth open, kind of just gazing, and you say, John. Oh, what? Oh, sorry. They were engrossed. They're in a trance state. Perhaps you yourself. You're lost in your thoughts, driving down the highway. You almost miss your highway turnoff. That sign's 10 feet tall, but yet you almost miss it. You're in a mild trance state. I venture to say that most people spend about 70% of their day in a trance. That's what I suggest. That's what I say. Now, in different levels of trance, to say the least. All right, let me give you an example. Does anyone here think that they are fully conscious right now? 100% conscious, aware, and ready to go? Anyone? You are, sir. Awesome. Awesome. Come on up here for me if you would, please. Don't worry, no. It's not what you think. It's not what you think. All right. Perfect. What is your name, sir?
Kevin.
Kevin?
Yes.
Kevin, come on up. All right. I want you to watch, I want you to observe Kevin, and see if you can recognize when Kevin goes into a trance. Kevin, as a kid in school, did you ever play basketball? There he is. You see? He stopped for a second and looked up. Yes. Do you remember your high school graduation, Kevin? There it is again. Blinks, looks up. Were you aware that you do that? You are aware that you do that. That's good. You're actually, because most people don't take memories and visions of basketball along with them. They have to go into their unconscious mind to pull that out. Or if I asked you about your high school graduation day, you don't keep that image floating around there. You actually have to go back. You're probably picturing some of the caps and the gowns and whether it was indoors, outdoors, what the weather was like, everything like that. Oh, you remember us graduating. It was a very, very interesting high school experience for you now, Kevin, wasn't it? Yeah, good. That's what it was. That's what it was. Very good. Give Kevin a nice round of applause. Thank you very much. So what happens is you enter your unconscious mind whenever something that's out there that you don't need readily available. If I asked you to spell out anti-disestablishmentarianism, which I think is the longest word in the English language, you would stop for a second, you'd go into your unconscious mind, because you don't keep it there at the ready. Your eyes would go upwards, you'd access your unconscious mind, A-N-T-I, and then continue on from that point in time. So most people spend 70% of their time in an unconscious state. If you go into your office buildings at the end of the conference, you'll probably see people there like this. Working at the computer, staring off into the distance. If they're on the phone and they're listening, someone is talking and they're only half paying attention. They may be half listening to the radio. They're in a mild trance state. So I'm going to show you a way to induce that trance state here today. Now, I do want to address one of the major myths about being hypnotized. A lot of people think you have to be weak-willed or weak-minded in order for you to be hypnotized. I can tell you nothing can be further from the truth. In fact, the more you pay attention, the more you follow my instructions, the faster and the easier you will go into trance here today. Now, I did have the opportunity to talk to a couple people. The person said, Jason, you know what? I want to come up, I want to be hypnotized. What happens if I come up on stage? What happens when I go into a trance? What happens if I start clucking like a chicken, barking like a dog? Next thing you know, I'm stripped down halfway naked, swimming across the river. Kind of show this group the people requested. No, nobody will do anything humiliating in my shows here today. And there's a reason for that. All of you folks have access to social media. All of you have access to video cameras on your phones. All right, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, all the social media platforms, Twitter. Yeah, we still use Twitter. Yeah, I think there's only one Twitter user anymore. I think it's just Donald Trump. I think that's all he does is just Twitter. That's it. So what happens is, if I did anything crude or embarrassing to any of my volunteers up here today, okay, I work a lot in the college market, I work a lot in the high school market, I work a lot in the corporate market. If I did anything rude, crude, or embarrassing, about 13 seconds after my show ended, it would be uploaded to Instagram and say, look what the hypnotist made her do at the hypnosis show. I would never work again. Fair enough? So today, we're not going to do anything humiliating. We're going to get a little crazy up here probably, yeah. We're going to get a little silly, yeah. Are you going to do anything up here that is permanently going to scar you for the rest of your life, stop you from getting in your next career advancement? You don't have to worry about that. Plus we got video cameras going, so I'll be happy to blackmail you to keep the tape. That's good. So the second part, someone said, Jason, you know what, I want to come up, I want to be hypnotized, you know. I will tell you that just for being in the trance state with me for 1 hour, you receive the equivalent benefit of a full night's normal sleep. It's actually scientifically proven. Remember the first hypnotic demonstration I ever did, I was working a restaurant at the time, God bless you. I was working a restaurant at the time, and it was the first show that I ever did. A group of regular customers were trying to get their son to come out. It was like, come on, you gotta come out, you gotta see Jason's show. It's the first show he's ever doing, you gotta come out and help support him. No, Mom, I don't want to come out, I'm tired, and then, you know, I got a lot of work to do, I'm dead tired, I can't go, I'm tired. They make me come out to the show. So, we start the show, we're sitting there, it's like, come on, you gotta go up and volunteer, go up and volunteer for Jason's show. It's his first show, go up and volunteer. No, I don't want to volunteer, I'm dead tired, I don't want to do anything, I'm tired. I want to do it, go up and volunteer. He comes up and volunteers. I put him in trance. He was in trance for about a half an hour, okay? I sent him back. The next week, his parents come back to the restaurant and say, oh my God, Austin felt fantastic after the show. He stayed up for another 4 hours, was wide awake, finished all of his homework assignments, finished 2 of his research projects. He was fantastic, it was phenomenal. So scientifically proven, just for 1 hour, you receive the equivalent benefit of a full night's normal sleep, okay? And then third person said, Jason, you know what, I want to come up, I want to volunteer, but what happens? I come up on stage, what happens when I go into a trance? What happens if I get stuck there? That only happens every other show. Didn't happen last night, so no, I'm just kidding. Because as I said, that trance state that I'm going to induce is right before deep sleep at night, right after deep sleep in the morning. It is impossible to get stuck in that trance state. So if you've seen the movie Office Space, it's a total fabrication. It can't happen. It doesn't work that way. So let's say this. Moments from now, I have the chairs filled. I put my volunteers in my trance. Worst case scenario. I pass out, have a heart attack, die right here on the floor in front of you. Thanks for your concern. You would do one of two things. You would either realize I'm no longer giving you suggestions, and then you'll slowly wake, or you'd fall into a normal state of sleep in which you wake up of your own accord, or anyone can wake you up at that point in time. It is impossible to get stuck in that trance state. But don't have that fear today. I'm going to put you in the trance. I'm going to take you out from that trance. Now, I do want to show you, I'm going to do a couple tests just to show you the power of your mind, the power of visualization and your mind. So here's what I'd like everyone to do for me. I want you to place your feet flat on the floor for me, if you would, please. All right? And I want you to make two fists with your knuckles touching just like this. I want you to put your thumbs up so you can take a look at your thumbs. Good. Perfect, just like that. I want you to extend your first 2 fingers, your index fingers, just like this, like 2 little goalposts, okay? 2 little goalposts. I want you to take a deep breath in and exhale. Good. Extend your fingers out. Make sure there's a gap in between those fingers for me, if you would, please. I want you to stare at your right thumbnail for me, if you would, as you take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, close your eyes. I want you to imagine that I've placed magnets on the tips of those fingers. Very small, tiny, rare earth magnets that are very, very powerful to begin pulling those fingers closer and closer together, tugging and pulling, pulling and tugging. Those fingers getting smaller, that gap getting smaller and smaller and smaller, tinier and tinier and tinier. That's exactly right. Turning up the power in those magnets now, going even closer and closer and closer together. Now taking a broccoli rubber band that you find at the grocery store, take those and tying them around those fingers, that finger's getting tighter and tighter and tighter, pulling and tugging, tugging and pulling, that gap getting smaller and smaller and smaller, the magnets now turning up their power, the broccoli rubber band turning up their power, and freeze. Open your eyes. Take a look at your fingers. By a round of applause, how many people had their fingers moving together at least a little bit by a round of applause? Give me a round of applause. Oh, fantastic. We have found the 68%. Now, for the purpose of my hypnotic demonstration, obviously I'm going to be looking for those 10 to 15% who are the excellent visualizers. Not the super good ones, but the really good visualizers. There's one more test that we're going to do. It's called the arm rising and falling test. By the end of this demonstration, a number of you people will have one of their arms straight up completely in the air. Now, I want to point out that if you happen to notice some of the fingers going together, they did not go together at a steady pace. If you notice that, they were pulling and being taut, pulling and being taut. Every once in a while I have someone that really wants to come up here and be hypnotized and you go like this, oh, wow, that was amazing, look at that. It does not work that way. That tugging and pulling is called a vesticulated motion. That's what we're looking for. Now, we're going to do one more demonstration for you today. I am going to turn on some music in the background. The music in and of itself has no hypnotic quality, just tends to drown out some of the ambient noise. But one more test, and I'm going to do this with you folks as well. I want everyone to participate to the best of their ability. I am going to have your folks moving up and down on their arms, so you may have to find a way that we can move to the left or the right. It may help just a little bit. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take those arms, place them flat out in front of you again with your fists. Like this. Fantastic. Your arms are going to be moving, so you want to make sure that you have some room to move those arms. I want you to turn your left hand in a fist, though, but turn the palm up, just like that. I want you to extend your right thumb. Perfect. Hold it up just like this for me. Good. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And as you do, let your legs relax. Perfect. Take another deep breath in and exhale all the way down. And as you do, allow your midsection to relax, your stomach. Take a look at that right thumb. Just like before, take another deep breath in. And as you exhale all the way down, close your eyes. Because I want you to imagine in your left hand, I've placed the bucket, the handle of the bucket, in the palm of your left hand, with the bucket hanging underneath it. That's right. I want you to imagine that bucket in that left hand. I want you to imagine that I'm taking a garden hose. I'm placing a garden hose into that bucket. I now begin to walk and trail the other end of that garden hose, and I reach out and turn on the spigot. Immediately, the weight of that bucket begins to shift. It begins getting heavier and heavier and heavier. Now, as I come out and around the audience, I do happen to touch you on the shoulder. I may notice some good visualizers. I may say a few words to you. Touch you on the shoulder doesn't mean I'm getting fresh. It just means I've identified you as a good subject. And I'd like to have you up on my stage. You don't have to come up if you don't want. Wave me off and move around. But that bucket continues to get heavier and heavier and heavier. That's right. More water equals more weight. As that left hand begins to fall down lower and lower and lower, getting heavier and heavier and heavier. That's right. Wonderful. Fantastic. Now in your right hand, I want you to imagine that I've placed 100 helium-filled balloons. That's right. Attached to silver strings. And that hand begins to lift and rise and rise and lift. That right hand getting higher and higher and higher. Lifting and rising, rising and lifting. That's right. Going higher and higher and higher as that left hand and that bucket gets lower and lower and lower to the ground. That right hand can continue to raise up higher and higher and higher. Floating and lifting, lifting and floating, rising and rising and rising. The more those hands separate, one up, one down, the better you feel. That's right. That left hand getting heavier and heavier and heavier as that right hand continues to go higher and higher and higher, floating and drifting, drifting and floating higher and higher. Floating and drifting. Now, sorry that took so long, folks. Obviously, I was trying to go around the room, get a couple of people from different areas of the audience.
just the individual that I am touching, the individual that I am touching only on the shoulder. In a moment, you're going to count to 3. You're going to double your relaxation, feeling even better. 1, 2, 3. By the way, love to have you up on stage. Right? Come on, grab a chair, grab a chair. Just the individual that I am touching right now on the shoulder. In a moment, I'm going to count to 3. You're going to open your eyes. 1, 2, 3. By the way, love to have you up on stage. 1, 2, grab a chair. That would be awesome. Just the individual touching. 1, 2, 3. By the way, love to have you up on stage. 1, 2, grab a chair up there for me, if you would please. Now, if you happen to see some people kind of like passed out, would be a good time to point them out to me. It would be a very good idea. Perfect. Just the individual that I am touching on 3. You're going to open your eyes. 1, 2, 3. Wide awake. Love to have you up on stage. You want to join me? I think I had you as well. If you want to join me up on stage, it'd be awesome. Come on up for me if you would, please. Fantastic. Did I? Oh, yeah. Oh, someone out here? Yeah, point them out to me. So I sometimes I get lost. Yeah, if you want to come up, you'd be awesome. Yeah, come on up. Just the individual that I am touching. The individual that I am touching right now. 1, 2, 3. Wide awake. Love to have you up on stage. You can just go right in the back there for me if you would, please. That would be great. That'd be awesome. All right. Anyone else want to give this a go? I think I have 3 more chairs. If anyone else wants to give it a go, come on in. Come on up. I'm going to show you how this works on out. 1, 2, 3. No problem. We got an extra chair right here for you. We won't turn it away. Good. All right. Fantastic. Fantastic.
You again?
All right. I'm going to have you switch places with the lady over here for me, if you would, please. Right on over here. Yeah, right there. I'm going to have you stand up and switch places with Ann. Right on over there. And fantastic. All righty. Perfect. Now, do me a favor, place your feet flat on the floor. Anyone up here been hypnotized before at all? You have. You have. Very good, very good. So I don't have to tell you how wonderful you're going to feel. You already know. You feel great already. You feel great already. That's awesome. That's awesome. For you folks, I'm going to tell you, you're going to feel more relaxed than you ever did. Those are my 3 prompts. You feel more relaxed, nothing humiliating, and you're going to get some dramatic demonstrations here in a moment. So let's do this. Let's start off. All right, perfect. All right, and what is your name? Ann. Ann, here's what I'd like you to do, Ann. I want you to take and gaze for me, if you would, please, at see that left-hand chandelier right over there? I want you to look at that left-hand chandelier. Gaze in and out of that for me, if you would. Focus in on one spot on the chandelier. I want you to take a deep breath in and exhale. Perfect. Relax. Counting backwards from 5, 4, 3. Take another deep breath in. 2. Exhale. 1. Remember how relaxed you were a second ago? Take an exhale in. Sleep down. Just allow yourself to go loose, limp, and relax in each and every way. We have Ann over here, just continuing to relax even deeper. What's your name?
Kim.
Kim, I'd like you to take a look at that chandelier for me, if you would, please. I want you to focus in on that chandelier. I want you to gaze intently at that light, if you would, please, as well. Take a deep breath in. 5, 4, exhale. 3, 2, 1. Sleep down. You allow yourself to relax even deeper. That's right. Continuing that relaxation even more. The more you relax, the deeper you go. Fantastic. What is your name? Ruth. Nice to meet you. Thanks for volunteering here. Ruth, how's your shoulder? Feel okay? There's nothing wrong with it or anything like that? Take a look right here at me. Exhale. Sleep down deep, relaxing even deeper, limp and loose. Perfect, wonderful in every single way. Your name, Paul?
Yes.
Paul, have you ever been hypnotized before?
Yeah.
Actually, you just were out there.
Okay. Yeah.
You ready to be hypnotized again? Sure. Paul, here's what I'd like you to do. I want you to place your hand on my hand for me, if you would, please. I want you to look right here in my eyes. Press down hard, though, on the hand. Take a deep breath in. Close your eyes for me, if you would. And press down harder. I know you can go harder than that, Paul. Even harder. Down deep. Allow yourself to relax even deeper. Let that neck go loose and limp. Completely limp and loose and relaxed. Wonderful in every single way. Nancy, I'm going to have you stare at the light for me, if you would, please. Allowing yourself to just continue that relaxation down deep. Wonderful. Feeling good. Nancy, take a look at the left-hand light over there for me, if you would. Counting backwards from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and sleep. Down deep. Limp and loose. Feeling wonderful in every single way. Pretty cool, Kevin, isn't it? I'll be back for you. Jason, nice to meet you. Your name is my name, too?
What?
Your name is my name, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're like, good name.
Yeah, we're like John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. You know her over here? Right here. Sleep. Down deep. Allow yourself to relax even deeper. Jessica, take a look right here at my fingertips, if you would. I want you to follow my fingertips with your eyes. However, I want you to close your eyelids down. Every time you blink, getting tired and tired, I want you to close your eyelids down. Continue following those fingertips with your eyes through your eyelids, allowing yourself to go completely limp, loosed, relaxed as you exhale and sleep down deep. Wonderful. Judy, nice to meet you. Thanks for coming up. Do you know Paul over here? You do not know Paul. Paul, perfect. Judy, you look a little nervous there. You don't have to be nervous. Just take a deep breath in. Exhale. Sleep down deep. Allow yourself to relax even deeper. That's right. Wonderful. Perfect. Relaxed in every way. Kevin, we meet again. Kevin. Yes, we do. Kevin, here's what I'm going to have you do. I want you to just grab my hand. I want you to look right here for me. Take a deep breath in. But as you exhale, just close your eyes down. I'm going to show all these people how to relax 10 times deeper. I want you to relax your toes, the arch of your foot, and your heels. Allow them to completely relax. That's right. Continue that relaxation now, forming up over your calf muscles and over your shins. I want you to allow that relaxation to continue up over your knee muscles. Just make your knees so relaxed that if I asked you to stand up, you'd probably just fall down. That's how relaxed I want you to make those knees feel. That's right. It's important you feel relaxed. So relaxed that if I asked you to stand, you'd probably fall over. Continue that relaxation up over your midsection, over your stomach, up your back. Just allow yourself to relax completely. That's right. You're doing fantastic. Every time those eyelids flutter, takes you down even deeper so you can relax even more. Perfect. Wonderful in every single way. That relaxation continuing up now over your shoulders, down your biceps and your triceps, all the way down your forearms, and when your fingers become numb or tingle, or perhaps you didn't even know your fingers were there until I just mentioned them now, that's the onset of the hypnosis coming onto you. Every time those fingers twitch, it takes you down even deeper so you can relax even more. That's right, feeling wonderful in every way. In fact, remember that every word I say allows you to relax even deeper. Every breath you exhale takes you down even more. That's right, feeling wonderful in every way. Good, continue that relaxation up over your head, your scalp, your eyebrows, your nose, your mouth. Just allow all the teeny tiny little muscles around your mouth to completely relax. Now the most important part of your body, your mind. Allow your mind to relax completely, and as you do, notice how good you feel. Now there's two ways to relax, folks. There's physically and there's mentally. My volunteers are doing wonderful with the physical relaxation. Now it's time to relax mentally. Here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to count backwards from 100. Every number I say, I'm going to say deeper, relaxed. You do not need to visualize these numbers. This has nothing to do with visualization. Simply draw attention to the number I say. Make that number a burden you want to get rid of, a burden you can get rid of by the time I get to 95 or sooner. 100, deeper, relaxed. And the deeper you go, the better you feel. The better you feel, the deeper you want to go. 98, deeper, relaxed, floating, drifting, feeling so wonderful in every way. 97, deeper, relaxed. The more you relax, the better you feel. The better you feel, the more you want to go. 96, deeper, relaxed. Nothing you want more than relaxation. Nothing you need more than sleep. And find you can just let go. 95, deeper, relaxed, now pushing all thoughts completely out of your mind. And as you do, notice how good you feel. Now, I'm going to show you how to go even deeper here. In fact, every time that you hear me speak, it allows you to relax even deeper so you can feel even better. That's right, every breath you exhale takes you down even more. Now, my volunteers, every time you hear me say those two words, sleep now, you'll return to this nice restful state. You'll allow your eyes to close down, your body goes completely limp, loose, and relaxed just as it is now. Once again, every time you hear me throughout the remainder of this presentation say sleep now, you'll allow your eyes to close down, your body goes completely limp, loose, and relaxed just as it is now. Now, these people, right now, I want you to imagine that you're almost like a handful of limp, loose rubber bands just kind of tossed into that chair there. That's right, just kind of handful of limp, loose rubber bands. These volunteers up here on stage, I contend, are very, very good visualizers. In fact, you'll take a note that these people are about as relaxed as they could possibly be and still be breathing. Now, I'm asking them to picture themselves as a handful of limp, loose rubber bands. So they're acting like limp, loose rubber bands. Would it surmise to say that if we change the image from a handful of limp, loose rubber bands, we could change the outcome? Wouldn't that be an accurate assessment? So right now, if you're picturing yourself as, an average performer, but you can change that image of yourself of being a non-average performer as an excellent performer, at that point in time, we can change the outcome. So what would be the opposite of limp and loose and relaxed? What would be the opposite?
Hyper.
Hyper? What was that?
Tense.
Tense, stiff, rigid, right? Relaxed to rigid. So here's what I like all my volunteers to think. As I extend your arm, I want you to imagine that your arm is now locked down tight. It's a band of steel welded to your shoulder. It's bonded, welded, glued, stuck tight as I extend it. Bonded, welded, glued, stuck tight. Bonded, welded, glued, stuck tight. A bar of steel, bonded, welded, glued, stuck tight. Right there. Bonded, welded, glued, stuck tight. Try harder. Bonded, welded, glued, stuck. Bonded, welded, glued, stuck tight. Right to your shoulder. Bonded, welded, and glued, stuck tight. Steel bar. Just as it was a steel bar. Bonded, welded, glued, stuck tight. Bonded, welded, glued, stuck tight. And let me extend it. Extend it, and glue tight. Bonded, welded, glued, stuck tight. Right there. Bonded, welded, glued, tight. Right there. Bonded, welded, glued, stuck tight. Now, this is the cool part. This is demonstration. Now you see something completely different. This is the image of them in their minds, because right now their arm is acting as if it is a bar of steel. All right? Now, I'm gonna bring up someone from the audience. I'm gonna bring you up, sir, because you look like you have that look of like, what in the hell just happened? Okay, do me a favor, stand on up for me if you would, please. Bonded, welded, glued, stuck tight to your arms. It's bonded, welded, glued, stuck tight. That's exactly right. Oh, come on up. Awesome. What is your name, sir? Bob. Funny name, Bob. Spelled same frontwards, backwards.
Great.
One more O, you've been a boob. We're a bobo.
I've been called those things too.
You have it. Glad Mom and Dad stopped there. Good. All right, now this is the cool part. If you remember this from any sort of physics class, all right, this is the cool part. What I want you to do, laying down on the arm bar, okay? Here, start over here. And what I want you to do is just kind of gradually push down for me, if you would, please. And how does it feel? Bonded, welded.
Feels like he's got some strength pushing back.
Some strength. Okay, come on down here. Bonded, welded, glued, stuck tight. Bonded, welded, glued, stuck tight. Try right here if you would, please.
Really solid.
Really solid. And try over here.
He's locked, glued.
He's locked. Now, the reason, here's the deal. Now, you remember, though, that if you follow those physics classes, okay, as the weight, this is a lever, this is the fulcrum, as the weight goes out, it goes out exponentially. So the pressure here is not +1, +2, +3. It's ×1, ×2, ×3. I want you to push out here. Don't wang the arm, but push down.
Nothing. He doesn't give it all.
Nothing. Now, okay, perhaps the guys are freaky and they just have upper body strength that we don't even know about. So I'd like you to try with the ladies. Same thing, don't wang down.
Oh, she's even stronger than he is.
Isn't that the oddest thing? I mean, seriously, because in their mind, I gave them a suggestion to go, yeah, give it a go.
Pushes back even.
Yeah. It's their image in their mind has now changed from a handful of limp, loose rubber bands. Their arms are acting like steel bars because I've given them a suggestion. That's their visualization process. They're visualizing a steel bar. Now, I picked you for two reasons. Okay, number one, because you look like you were skeptical. And number two, you look like you're a little bit more on the build side. I want you to try to emulate them for me, if you would. I want you to extend out your arm. Okay? All right? Get everything tensed up. Just try to emulate exactly what they are. All right? Now, doing the best you can. Now, the first thing you see that Bob does is, see what he switched now. He set his feet. Okay? Now, this is the weird part. If you take a look at this, it's just this arm. This is completely limp and loose. It's just that one. Okay? But Bob tensed up everything. I asked him to use arms stiff and rigid. He got a whole bunch of things stiff and rigid. No, I'm not going there. Now, look. I'm only going to do, whenever you're ready, you let me know. I'm only going to do 2 fingers. Okay, you were doing the hand, I'm only going to do 2 fingers. You let me know. Whenever you're ready, you let me know.
I'm ready.
Not even close. Not even close. And so I'm trying again, just to make sure that, or perhaps just, okay, you take as much time as you want, you let me know. Now. It's completely different. Give Bob a nice round of applause. Perfect. All our volunteers up here on stage taking a deep breath in, relax that arm, and sleep. Sleep, 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 all the way down. Good. Judy, nice to see you. Perfect. Sleep. Good. Allow yourself to go loose and relax. Perfect. Floating, drifting in every single way. All right, now, so you've seen the image that we can change in your mind, okay? You've also heard the old adage, never let them see you sweat, right? Okay, let's say that you have an interview that you have to give to the media, okay? Maybe nervous, something didn't go right, you're not exactly sure how to present yourself. They know that stuff up front. All kind of little subconscious telltale signs that happens and goes on. But if you can change the way you feel about different things, suddenly everything becomes more different. Let me give you an example. Because as I touch your shoulder, you're going to realize that you folks are watching a funny movie. The more you laugh, the funnier it gets. The funnier it gets, you guys are going to laugh and laugh and laugh away. It's a funny movie. The more you laugh and laugh and laugh, the funnier it gets. The funnier it gets, you're going to laugh. 10 times funnier, 10 times funnier, 10 times funnier. Laugh, laugh, laugh. It's the funniest movie you've ever seen. It's a funny movie. It makes you laugh and laugh and laugh. The more you laugh, the funnier it is. The funnier it is. The more you laugh and laugh. It's the funniest thing. As I stump my feet, 10 times funnier, 10 times funnier. It's the funniest thing you've ever seen. It's the funniest thing you've ever seen. And sleep. Down deep. That is emotional control. Judy, I'm going to get you out of here for me, Judy. Perfect. Wide awake, Judy. Perfect. Thanks. Give Judy a nice round of applause. Awesome. My friends, my volunteer for me too. So your attitude can change your outcome. Your attitude can change your outcome. Let me say, if you're going into a negotiation, and if you can just image and picture the last time that you had a successful negotiation, do you think that's going to help you in the current one that you're negotiating with? Absolutely, it is going to do that. It absolutely will do. Now, this is the cool thing. Now, if I asked you to try to emulate what you saw up here, notice that these aren't just ha-ha, funny, funny laughs. These are actually guttural laughs. They're coming in from their bellies. You might try to emulate it, but could you go funnier, funnier, funnier movie makes you laugh and laugh and laugh. The funnier it is, the funnier it is, the more you laugh and laugh and laugh. It's the funniest movie ever. The more you laugh, the funnier it gets, the funnier it gets, the funnier it gets. Now that doesn't impress me as much. That funnier, funnier, funnier. What really impresses me is this: sleep. You'd be hard pressed to train a Hollywood actor to act that well. Your attitude changes your emotional view of yourself. Now, a lot of people will tell me, they say, Jason, you know what? Sure, this guy's making $250,000 a year. He has one of the most successful counties in the state. Yeah, for sure he's flying high. They just fantastic. But I'm not at that point in time, so it's like my attitude isn't that great. But what a lot of people fail to think is that it was actually controlled by their attitude first. And a lot of people fail to see that it's the attitude that results in, you probably heard it, your attitude determines your altitude. If you have a good positive attitude about certain things, that's what's going to make everything succeed at a far better pace than going in those directions. Now, all my volunteers, you've also heard the old adage, never let them see you sweat, right? Never let them see you sweat. I'll do a couple more demonstrations here. All my volunteers, when I count to 3, you're going to realize that I'm taking you on a trip to the Bahamas. It's a nice, comfortable day in the Bahamas, and it's going to be about 70 degrees. When I reach 3, I simply want you to kick your feet out, tilt your head back, keep your eyes closed because it's a bright, sunny day, but you're going to be relaxing in the Bahamas on 3. 1, picture yourself getting to the Bahamas. 2, arriving poolside. 3, in the Bahamas. It's a nice, comfortable 70 degrees. It's a nice, comfortable 70 degrees, but that temperature continues to climb. It gets a little hotter now. It's up to 80 degrees. Now the temperature starts to climb up to 90. The temperature gets up to 90 degrees, it starts to get a little hotter. Now it's up to 100 degrees. It's up to 100 degrees, you gotta cool yourself down to whatever you can. It's up to 110. It's starting to get uncomfortably muggy at 110 degrees. It's up to 115. It's a hot, uncomfortable, muggy day at 115 degrees. It's up to 120. 120 degrees, uncomfortable and muggy. If you would like an ice cold, refreshing beverage, hold out your left hand, I'll give you a beverage. Hold out your left hand, I'll give you a beverage. There it is, there it is. Drink it on down, drink it on down. And as you do, notice how much more comfortable you feel, but that temperature still continues to climb. It's up to 130, up to 140. It's up to 150. Do whatever you can to cool down. Help your neighbor out, cool them down too. It's up to 160. 160 uncomfortable, muggy degrees at 160. It is so hot, so humid, so muggy at 160 degrees. But here's some suntan lotion. I have some lotion on you. If you put it on, it'll pull you down, pull you down, pull you down. Put the lotion on, rub the lotion in, rub it in, rub it in, rub it in. Rub it on your legs, on your arms, your face. Yeah, rub it in. Much cooler, much cooler. But I don't know what's in that lotion. It might be honey. It might be some sugar. But you have little gnats now coming at you. Little gnats coming all at you. There's like all kind of little gnats. Get those gnats off. Get those gnats off. They're flying around. All kind of flying around. They're all kind of flying around. Those gnats. Get them out of the way. Get them out of the way. Gnats, gnats, gnats. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Listen, I can fix it. I can fix it. Everyone sleep. Now, down. Give them a nice round of applause. Take it down even deeper. All that applause certainly reinforces the ear. Unconscious mind makes you twice as comfortable, twice as relaxed, twice as secure and creative. Now, the exact opposite is true. Now, when I count to 3, you're going to realize that you're relaxing, but unfortunately, it's not anywhere near the beach. It's on top of a mountainside. 1, 2, 3, a mountainside, and you forgot your jacket. It is 20 degrees outside. It's 20. It's 10. It's negative 10. It is negative 15. Negative 30. Negative 45. Negative 50. It is so cold at negative 50. Negative 60, negative 70, it's a life or death situation, so cold, life or death, negative 70. If you're next to someone, you gotta grab onto a plate, conserve your body warmth, grab onto a plate, conserve that body warmth. Negative 70, negative 90, negative 90, negative 90. That's okay, listen, and sleep. Down deep. Perfect, give them a nice round of applause. Take them down deeper. So just by changing that unconscious attitude in their minds, they can go from hot to cold. They can go from loose and limp. They can go to stiff and rigid. They can go from unsuccessful to successful if you have the correct image. That's right. Just the individual that I am touching right now, just the individual that I am touching right now, I'm going to extend your hand out. You're going to realize that it's in the back and it is now, 1 second. Locked down to the back. Locked down. No matter how hard you try, you will not be able to remove that hand from the back. Whenever I count to 3, it'll come off immediately. But until then, actually, whenever I touch you on the forehead, it'll come off immediately. But until then, it's bonded, welded, glued, stuck tight. Your hand's just the gentleman that I am touching right now. The gentleman I'm touching right now on the forehead. Your name is no longer your name. Your name is now changed. Your name is now Mary. M-A-R-Y. That's right. Your name is now Mary. If I ever mispronounce it, you become offended because you can't remember that. I can't remember that your name is Mary. That's exactly right. Perfect. Wonderful. Just the individual that I am touching right now. Just the individual that I am touching right now on the shoulder. When you wake up, you're going to realize that the hypnosis has made you very, very extremely thirsty. Extremely thirsty. And if you ask for some water, I'll give it to you. But you're going to find out that whenever you go to drink it, you can't find your mouth. You have no clue where it is. For all intents and purposes, you've forgotten how to drink. Just the individual that I'm touching on the forehead. Until then, my whole chest will be wide awake on 3. 1, 2, 3. Wide awake. Perfect. Fantastic. Let's meet some people over here. Kevin, what do you do? Wait, wait. Kevin, what do you do for a living? He's not on the stunned side. We'll come back to you. What's going on here?
Hi.
Hi. It's what happened over here, Ann?
I don't know.
All right, and Ruth over here. What was that?
What did you do?
We'll get you all taken care of, Kevin. We're going to put you in a transfer. Ruth, what do you do, Ruth?
What do I do? The mayor.
The mayor, very nice. The Mayor Ruth, awesome. Thanks for coming up, volunteering. So we got Ann. Oh, sorry.
I can't get my hand off.
I'll give you some help. If you want, you can remove. You can use the other hand if you want to try. But the more you try, the harder it gets. What is your name, sir?
Mary. M-A-R-Y.
Wait. Didn't you tell me when I came up your name was Jason?
Mary. M-A-R-Y.
Whenever I said your name is mine too, we're like John Jacob Jingleheimer's name.
My name is Mary. M-A-R-Y.
What's your name back say? What is your name back say?
Mary. M-A-R-Y.
Kimberly.
Nice.
It's my ex-wife's, Kimberly.
Yeah.
What do you do for a living, Kimberly?
City clerk.
City clerk. Nice to meet you. How are you? Are you doing over here? You're still doing okay. All right. Jessica, how are you? What do you do for a living?
I'm from Elkins.
You're a what?
I'm a city clerk.
Oh, city clerk as well. Do you know each other? Are you city clerks together? Oh, you do. Okay, fantastic. And what? How are you doing, Rance?
What?
How are you?
Fine.
What?
I'm thirsty.
Can I get you anything?
Can I get some water?
Well, yeah, there's some water right there. Yeah, it's right over there for me if you would. And Paul, what do you do for a living? Paul?
City manager.
City manager. Thank you very much, Paul. Over here. Excellent. Good to go. Fantastic. All right. How are you? Okay. Let me. Stop. All right. Listen. All right. Let me do. I'll tell you what. How many of you people think that money is a good motivator of people? How many people think money is a good motivator of people? If you give me more money, we'll do better. All right. And I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what, man. If you. I thought you said you were thirsty.
I am.
Yes.
I am.
All right, and I'll tell you what, if you remove the hand, I'll give you $20.
I can't.
20 bucks.
No, I can't. They tried to help me.
You tried, help me.
I want Mary to
Okay.
help me.
Hold on. Hold that for a second. All right, look. All right, $100. $100, you take the hand off, it's yours. $100. $200. You take the hand off, $200. $300. 300 is yours. $500. $500 is yours. How many people think money is a good motivator of people? Now listen, if you talk to Ann, she'll tell you she's really trying. She's really trying to remove her hand from her forehead. She's not playing around. It's $500. But if you don't have that image in your mind of what you can achieve in the future, realize that your unconscious mind is always going to win out over your conscious mind. Money bet's gone now, Ann, but remove away. How are you? You still doing over here?
Yeah, but I'm thirsty.
You're still thirsty. You can remember now. Really odd how the unconscious mind works. It's the coolest thing ever how that works. All right, now my time is almost out over here for you, if you would. All right, who do you know the best here in the crowd?
Mayor Dorothy Judy back there.
Okay, the Mayor Dorothy Judy would. I mean, you would not lie to him, right? No. Okay, what is his name? Jason. She says your name's Jason.
Mary, M-A-R-Y. Everybody's laughing.
What is the name tag for you?
Jason.
So what's your name?
Mary, M-A-R-Y. Everybody's laughing. My mom gave me that name.
Your mom named you Mary.
M-A-R-Y, Mary.
Alright. Your name tag says Jason. Mayor Judy said Jason. Your mom, however, named you, and you say it's
Mary.
Alright, everyone take a deep breath in here and sleep down deep. Allow yourself to relax even deeper, floating, drifting, feeling wonderful in every single way. Now, I'm going to do one more. Actually, here's what I want you to do. I want you to realize, folks, that your unconscious mind holds so much power. If you can learn to harness and control that unconscious mind, you are going to succeed in ways that you can't even fathom. You can't even imagine. He honestly thinks his name's Mary. Nancy couldn't take a drink. Anne would not remove her hand from her forehead, from her arm for $500. It's the unconscious mind. It's that subconscious drive that is going to kick over anything that you do want to achieve or not achieve. So here's what we're going to do, folks. I'm going to count to 5. I'm going to wake up my volunteers. All my volunteers are going to feel wide awake, feeling completely refreshed, no longer in trance. However, listen to me carefully. Anytime you hear me or anyone say my name, Jason Christopher, you're going to yell out, he's the man. Whenever you hear me or anyone else say my name, you're going to yell out, he's the man. You'll yell it out loud and proud. Afterwards, you have no clue why you said that until the next person says it, at which point you'll yell it out again. This will remain in effect until you step outside. I'll return you back as you remembered everything before you came up on stage. That's right, just how you came up. You'll return remembering everything. All the suggestions are gone. Your name is no longer Mary. Your name is now Jason. It's back to normal. You can drink normally at any point in time. Yeah, that would have sucked, huh? I would have left you there like that. Your name is now back to normal. Your name is now Jason. Once again, remembering everything. Now, these volunteers won't remember too much about anything that took place up here on stage until they take a sip of a drink. The instant that that drink touches their lips, they'll instantly and effortlessly remember everything that took place up here on stage. Everything. And they'll demonstrate that outstanding creativity, feeling proud, wonderful in every way. 1, picture yourself relaxing in your room as you do every single day. 2, becoming more and more aware of your surroundings, your body temperature returning to normal. 3, feeling a surge of energy fill up your entire body, all the way from the bottom of your feet, all the way up to the very top of your heads. 4, sitting up right now, taking a deep breath in. And 5, eyes wide open, feeling completely refreshed. And all this applause is for you folks right there. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for volunteering. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. It's been wonderful. Ruth, what's your name, sir?
Jason.
Jason over here. Fantastic. Kimberly, thanks for volunteering. Jessica, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Come on, nice round of applause, folks. Thank you, Ray, for making your way on back to the stage. So once again, thanks. That's my portion of the demonstration today. I appreciate that. Remember that if you can change your unconscious way that you think and feel about yourself, you can change the future. Thank you, folks, very much. If you enjoyed it, I'm Jason Christopher.
He's mad!
Not, I'm Donald Trump.
Jason Christopher.
He's the man.
Jason Christopher.
He's the man!